Hello, Simone here. Haven't seen you guys in a while, but it's that amazing time of year. November 15 is just around the corner, and that means two things. One, you're halfway done with Q4, and two, if you haven't done this yet, you should be or planning or conducting your 2021 planning sessions. So the good news is what you should be doing to finish Q4 really strong is exactly what you should be doing to kick 2021 off really well. So now hopefully you are following our bulletproof practices and you've been defining and working and aligning and fine-tuning your quarterly plan. If you haven't yet, you should really book a call with us. But because if you're really missing out on doing this, you're missing out on doing some record creating breaking results. And right now is that once a year opportunity that you get handed to get laser focused and then to take away all that learning and really apply it to create the best business and leadership identity yet. So when we're talking about the midpoint review of Q4, think about this. You have the most data of the year right now to course correct your strategy. You still have 45 days left to test and optimize so that you're going with the best available data for 2021. So what you want to start with, of course, is revise your KPIs and figure out what you learned from 2020. Are you measuring the right things? That's always a good question to ask, right? Or if you made any adjustments now, how would that help you finish this year on a really high note? Then you get to revise your org structure and really contemplate top grades and key hires. Now, top grades are one of those things, it's uncomfortable to think about sometimes, and it takes a lot of courage. But when you're thinking about what's held you back this year, really important that you're looking at your team. Because further, you also want to consider, where have you made fear-based decisions and not hired up for the future identity of your business? So where are you cutting yourself short right now? And where will you stay in your own way or stand in your own way if you don't change that? Next thing is you want to ask yourself, how well have you done implementing and defending and refining your bulletproof structures? And that always, of course, starts with, is your vision crystal clear and inspiring? Is it articulated exactly right at all the different levels of your company and in your outreach? With that comes the milestones. Are all your milestones and metrics related to your vision? Do you lead every meeting? Because of course those are related to the meetings every week. Do you lead every meeting and all the discussions with the right level of your vision? So are you beating this like a cheap drum? Is this coming up over and over and over to the point where you feel like a broken record? Then you have to really think about this. Are you testing every obstacle and opportunity against that vision? Now, if you've been hiring a bunch this year, and a lot of you guys have you made every single hire in alignment with that vision? Because that sometimes can come back and really bite you in the behind if you hire too soon before you know where you were going. Now, once you've answered all those questions, the next one, of course, is about your ops plan. So does your ops plan right now get worked daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly, of course? Is it alive? Is it agile and always ahead of the needs of your business? Does it give you crystal clear guidance and plenty of room to dance? This is really where the rubber hits the road, and you cannot ever fall short with those practices. And there's so much in your business that's exactly based on that plan. That ops plan is like the skeleton for everything, and of course for your communication and for driving results. So the next question here is, are your meetings prepared, on point, and is that ROI from those meetings, the time that you put in, is like, are you getting 10 times the value that you put in? And once you consider that, you got to think about your leadership practices. Have you consistently upgraded those leadership practices and really worked on your CEO identity? Did you get completely, or at least mostly, out of the weeds this year? Or are you still tending to jump in and be the hero and the crisis operator? And is that where you're getting most of your satisfaction? Because if that's the truth, that's where you're going to stay. So think about this. Did you mostly get out of the weeds? Are you spending mostly all your time on working on your business versus in your business? And when you're slipping, and everybody slips sometimes, are you aware when you go from strategic to transactional, when you're slipping into those old behaviors, when those old behaviors are pulling you into those old actions that are really not resourceful for your business, and they're wasting your time, your energy, and you are now not at your highest and best use where you should be as the CEO. And when you think about that, that of course goes into your team interactions, because if you're in the weeds, you're not the best leader for your team. So are your team interactions solidly founded in transformational, or are they transactional most of the time? So there's so many questions, but what would happen if this is really where you dig in for the rest of Q4 and you really review this, and you'd be able to really make amazing adjustments to your 2021 strategy from here. Remember, if you want better outcomes, you have to ask better questions, because imagine what would happen if you could figure out how to be a strong leader and collaborate with your team for the outcomes and the ownership that you need them to bring to the table if you really want to kick it out of the park next year. Imagine what would happen if every single person in your company brought their A game, executed for the good and in alignment with the company goals. And if you could be that next level leader for them, who pulls out that next level performance. Now you're really cooking like you never have before. Of course, that would also have to mean that you have become that next level leader, which, that's a really big challenge. And that's a whole other conversation, so we'll have to leave that for next time. And you may be saying, but Simone, I'm way too busy to take the time out to do all that stuff. My business is cranking right now. This is the busiest season of the year for us. I'm going to get to that next time. Well, if that's what you're thinking, now I'm really worried about you. Or if most of what I've said today sounds good in theory, but you don't really know if, when you're honest with yourself, you don't really know how to get there, how to execute on this, or what this really means. And let me be honest with you, you can't miss any of this. If this is not your regular practice, you will become the bottleneck of your company. And that also means you will not be the best person for the CEO role anymore, or if you've never been. Don't shoot the messenger. That is really the most important question you as the CEO get to ask on a regular basis. You get to ask this daily. Am I still the best person to lead this company? If your answer is no, get help. Or find somebody else to do the job. I know it always sucks hearing this, but that's why I get to be the voice of truth, to make sure you're always executing for the health of the company. And that's really all that matters. No other reason matters here. So if any of this stuff resonates with you and you are ready to get some help, go to bulletproofstartups.com/apply and apply for a session with us. And we will help you take your company to the next level. Make sure you have the best leadership practices, the best systems, the best team in place, so you can really hit it out of the park in 2021 and make it your best year ever. bulletproofstartups.com/apply, and we will see you next time.